Here we go. Back in the mix. Straight up in the mix. All right. I'm waiting for a moment for guests to arrive. Ah, there you are. Greetings. So, I have been guided intuitionally to something, which I'm going to point out now. All right, here it is. Now, we're going to start out with Armagh, okay? And that is the seat of Macha, okay? Also associated with Morrígna, triple goddess energy, right? So going to the core in the ancient versus the modern advent, okay? Now, Armagh, or let's see, Ard Mhacha, Macha's height in the city town of County Armagh, and a city in Northern Ireland, in which I hail from, as well as a civil parish. It is ecclesiastical capital of Ireland. Now note that this was a major seat of the goddess. Note the overlay. It is the ecclesiastical capital of Ireland, the seat of the archbishops of Armagh. What happened? That was dedicated to the goddess originally. Huh. Yeah. Perching on top of the sacred sites. Huh? Suppressing the ancient spirit therein. All right. Let's see. What? The archbishops, the primates of all Ireland, were both the Roman Catholic Church and the Church of Ireland. So that would be Catholic and Protestant, both in the same area. Let's see. In ancient times, nearby Navan Fort, Navan. Let's see. Eamhain Mhacha was a pagan ceremonial site and one of the great royal capitals of Gaelic Ireland. Today, Armagh is a home to two cathedrals. What I say about cathedrals being put over sacred sites in order to suppress the ancient spiritual power, especially over the top of what? The goddess of sovereignty. What does she represent? Freedom and liberty upon the land. Thank you very much. So, what have they done? Now, we're getting to the core of why I do not like St. Patrick's Day. That's why I call it Irish Heritage Day instead. Armagh is a home to two cathedrals, both named, here clear, after St. Patrick, and the Armagh Observatory, and is known for its Gregorian architecture. Although classed as a medium-sized town, Armagh was given city status in 1994, and mayoralty status. So mayor and then ALTY. Okay. Status in 2012. Here we go. Keynote. Both by Queen Elizabeth II. It had a population. Now remember, the population numbers they use as part of their magic practices. Why does it have the population number as 14,777? 14 divisible by 7. Huh. Interesting. Okay. That's just my observation. People in the 2011 census, so on and so forth, making it the least populated city in Ireland. That is not an accident. You hear? That was planned hundreds of years ago. In Ireland, and the 5th smallest in the United Kingdom. Interesting. Okay. History. foundation, Eamhain Mhacha, or Navan Fort, the western edge of Armagh, I bit my tongue, is believed to have been an ancient, believed it was and still is to have been an ancient pagan ritual or ceremonial site. According to Irish mythology, it was one of the great royal sites of Gaelic Ireland and the capital of Ulster. It appears to have been largely abandoned after the 1st century. In the 3rd century, a ditch and bank was dug round the top of the cathedral. Here it is. Listen to the wording. The heart here of what is now Armagh. Right? So it is Armagh as a heart center, and then a heart center at the core of Armagh. Now, where would that would be a place that would have been dedicated to the worship and admonishment of the sovereignty goddess, linked to the king's providence on the land, the queen as well. And I would go so far to say that the queen, when acting properly, is a representation and direct link to the sovereignty goddess. And when that is not honored, she's not going to come help you. Why would she? But if you are honorable, she will come to your aid, in my opinion, of course, even if you are the last remnant on the face of the earth. Okay? My opinion, of course. Its circular shape, note that the circle is associated with the goddess. Here, its circular shape matches the modern street layout, overlay. Got it? Of the ancient path. Evidence suggests that it was a pagan sanctuary. I'll bet you there were some priestesses there. And the successor to the Navan. Like Navan, it too was named after the goddess Macha. Ard Mhacha means Macha's height. This name was later anglicized as Ard Mhacha. That is not an accident. That is an overwrite. So that it is harder to link back to what the original was. All right? That's why they're calling them dead languages, because they want them dead. You hear? So learning those ancient languages would be a long-term goal for me. Okay? Like Irish Gaelic, for instance, which eventually became Armagh after Christianity spread to Ireland. There it is. Christian overlay. The pagan sanctuary, oh my God, was converted into a Christian one. And Armagh became the site of an important church and monastery. I'll bet it did, sucking up all of our folk soul energy. I'll bet it did. But they can't access it. They can only suppress it because they do not hold the heart's flame for the goddess. And the sovereignty goddess will not have union with anyone that is not honorable. Of course, in my opinion. I feel that is a fact. According to tradition, St. Patrick founded his main church there. Here it is. Note the year. In the year 457. Curious. And it eventually became the ecclesiastical capital of Ireland. So that happened early on, that the main goddess sites were getting overrun. Suppression of women, loss of rights, Brehon law thrown in the trash can. You hearing? That has a direct connection to the Christian church. I don't give a shit what label you want to put on it. St. Patrick, to me, was evil and a piece of trash. That is how I feel. That is my opinion, of course. I didn't grow up Catholic. I don't give a shit. St. Patrick was said to have decreed. There it is. Why is he making decrees? That's like a king. You hear? Decree means you have sovereignty over the land. He did not. decreed that only those educated, here it is. If you didn't have the education, just like peer review, you are out. Educated in Armagh could spread the gospel according to the annals of the four masters. Now, that is what happened. They got their hands on an oral tradition, and then they put it in print and said, this is what it is. Bullshit. Overlay, overwrite. That's why I've had to do what I've had to do and backtrack to the point where I have to boil it down to base principle to figure out what is going on. Because all the overcomplicated shit just distracts you, right? Ard Mhacha, or Macha's height, was founded by St. Patrick. Interesting. Oh, it was. Now, the overlay, right? It having been granted to him by Dar, son of Fincod, was it? Son of Eogan, son of Nealan. 12 men were appointed. 12, that's interesting. Astrological connection. King Arthur. Oh, Knights of the Round Table much? Ha. Astrological symbology. 12 men were appointed by him. Now he's the 13th. That makes him the sun, right? Ha. Occult meaning. Right? You wouldn't know that if I didn't mention it. You probably would have figured it out if you have a brain in your head, which you do. He ordered them in the first place to erect. Now, erect, that's a masculine principle, right? An archbishop's city there. And a church of monks, here it is, for nuns, right? There's your priestess connection back before the nuns. See, that is what happened with, say, Saint Bridget. No, they were druidesses, high priestesses. Their whole concept was to demote the goddess and defile her memory, calling her a whore, right? How does it describe that in the Bible? Whore of Babylon? Excuse me. No, that's what they wanted. That was their power. That is not what the sovereignty goddess is about. No, you have to have union with her, right? To claim the sovereignty and providence of the land. Period. End of statement, my opinion. And for the other orders in general, for he perceived that it would be the head and chief of the churches of Ireland in general. Wow. So they posted up on top of ancient sacred sites and then claimed authority. They don't have it. No, they never will. It is only controlling it through fear, dominance, and war. It has nothing to do with heart's flame or love of your tribe. Zero. All right? In 839, in 869, this would have been contemporary with Viking raids happening. Here it is. The monastery in Armagh, this is badass, was raided by the Vikings. Hell yeah! How did I feel about that? I just said it. As with similar raids, their goal was to acquire valuables such as silver. Why do they have all these precious metals and fucking fancy shit with goddamn jewels on? Praise Jesus. Jesus was poor, as it is described in your book, because it ain't mine. So it's an opposite bullshit embellishment. Okay. Which could often be found in churches and monasteries. Here we go, scrolling down. The Book of Armagh. Oh, see, this is where the overwrite shit happened. And they did it on our sacred site. God, sick bastards. Ugh, feel that viscerally. Yeah. The Book of Armagh came from the monastery. Or, here's another possibility. Druids, having to go underground, may have infiltrated into the church and tried to save as much as they could. Or, more than likely, they were instructed to overwrite and overlay the oral tradition, which is what happened. Script became more important than the spoken word. That is how all these laws and all this bullshit came in. and it overthrew Brehon law, because Brehon law was given in poetic form. Here, it is a 9th century Irish manuscript, now held by Trinity College Library. Now consider that came in, what, several hundred years ahead before that, in Dublin, okay? Contains some of the oldest surviving specimens. Notice how they talk about it, specimens, like it is a thing to be studied. That's what happened, and that's how got infiltrated. We were things to them. Brian Boru is believed to be buried in the graveyard of St. Patrick's Church of Ireland Cathedral. After having conquered the island, here it is, during the 990s, he became High King of Ireland. Wow. In 1002, until his death in 1014. Now consider, Charlemagne was probably, whatever turned into that, was probably festering and growing, right? Like bacteria, building up. And so you have, what, 52 years later, just total annihilation, right? Murdering of leaders, all of that. All over. Pick a place. Scandinavia, Ireland, England, Scotland, whatever. It was about world domination. All right. In 1189, John de Courcy, a Norman knight, here it is, who had invaded Ulster in 1177. Interesting. Plundered Armagh. Huh. That's interesting. So that's twice that happened, right? Couple hundred years later, but still. Okay. So it goes into the modern, you know, whatever, all this shit. I'm not going to do everything. I wanted to cover the ancient. I made my point on this. Now I'm going to switch back over to Macha. All right. And start reading about her. Now, Macha, or let's see, ʻmaxə, I don't know how to say it, ʻmaxə, was a sovereignty goddess of ancient Ireland, associated with the province of Ulster, particularly with the sites of Navan Fort, Eamhain Mhacha, and Armagh, which are named after her. Remember, the height of Macha, but that also came in through St. Patrick. Overlay. So it's the original. Exactly. Most likely, Irish Gaelic. Several figures called Macha appear in Irish mythology, and that's where I come back to. There was a base language that all those people in those different islands spoke. Now, they may have split off and splintered off here and there, but there is a relation in language, which leads me to think that there is a connection between the language and the people, of course. All right. Macha appears in Irish mythology and folklore, all believed to derive from the same goddess. Yep. Sovereignty goddess, I keep saying it. She is said to be one of the 3 sisters. Now, flame tree and well, right? Cauldron. Now, you remember in that book, he described standing in the center of that and raising the sword to the sky. Huh. Known as the 3 Morrígna. I don't know. Morrígna. Something. Like other sovereignty goddesses, Macha is associated with the land, here it is, fertility, kingship, war and horses. Now, the fertility aspect is what I'm saying. Now, being sacred mother and having sexuality is not bad, but when sexuality is perverted and stained, it is like disrespecting the sovereignty goddess. She will not take that lightly, in my opinion, of course. The name is presumably derived, and I would go so far to say that if she's the ancient grandmother, she will look at you as a bastard. What did I mean? You're not acknowledging or honoring your family. Therefore, you are a bastard. It's like being born out of wedlock. That has nothing to do with a piece of paper. That is intention in heart's flame. That's how I feel. I don't need a piece of paper. I need love. If I love her then and committed to her, then I am married to her. Does this make sense? Yes, it does. The name is presumably derived from, Proto-Celtic. Let's see, makajā, denoting a plain. Okay, so a plain is like a flat field. Okay, so that would kind of represent the land again. Overall, you're looking out upon the land, right? It was also said that Macha was called Grian Banchure. I noticed Grian or grain, right? Green mole, O'Malley, Grace O'Malley, right? Okay, I don't know, possible. Here it is. Grian Banchure or Banchure, the son of Womanfolk. Huh. Folk soul, light of the folk. Huh. Yeah. Moving down. Macha, daughter of Partholon. A poem in the Labor Gabala Erin mentions Macha as one of the daughters of Partholon, leader of the first settlement of Ireland after the flood, although it records nothing about her, the flood. So that would have created trauma, wouldn't it? Desperation, something. Macha, wife of Named. Various sources record a second Macha as the wife of Named, leader of the second settlement of Ireland after the flood. See, this is why they would fairy taleize everything, so you couldn't go back and look at those kings and actually find anything, because they wiped out the record and then they turned it into a myth. See what I'm saying? Sovereignty goddess is not a myth. She is a reality, in my opinion, of course. And I feel that deeply in my heart. She was the first of Named's people to die in Ireland. So she was martyred. 12 years, possibly, after their arrival, here it is, according to Geoffrey Keating. 12 days after their arrival, according to the annals of the Four Masters, it is said that the hilltop where she was buried was named after her, Macha's high place. That sounds, and I'll be honest, like a sacrifice, especially with the overwrite of the name coming from whom? Saint Patrick. So they took the high places of the goddess and dominated. Nope, not right. The surrounding woodland. Oh my God, listen to this. Now remember, we gathered in the woodland, in sacred groves and clearings, right? The surrounding woodland was cleared by Named's folk and named Macha. Okay. Macha's plain. So they cleared that specifically. So I was wrong about that, but dedicated to her. But there was always a chance of deception and overwrite. And that's the hard part. Here is the interesting part. Now, remember what I said, that I had a McHugh in my family. And Hugh is associated with the god Aod or Aid, or however you say it, A-E-D. She is described as the daughter of the red weaponed Aid, as the raven of the raids and diffuser of all excellences. So that's also similar to say somebody like Lou, master of all arts. And you would have learned those arts layered on top of each other over time, gaining, multiple streams of consciousness, law, right? There's people screaming around. I don't know what they're doing, but they're loud. Whatever. Okay. Little distracting, but I'll stay focused. Macha, daughter of Ard Mhacha of the Tuatha De Danann, appears in many early sources. Now, I'm also going to relate the Tuatha De Danann into the Nordic folk, which includes both sides of my lines. It's all interconnected, in my opinion, of course. Okay. She is often mentioned together with her sisters, Bab, remember Queen Bab, and Morrígna, whose name was Anand. The three with varying names are often considered a triple goddess associated with war. No, associated with the sovereignty of the land. Period. Olmaconry's glossary, and remember, sovereignty of the land encompasses war at times. It also encompasses peace, holding of the land, honoring of the land. That's why those rituals were important. A 13th century compilation of glosses from medieval manuscripts preserved in the Yellow Book of Lacan describes Macha as one of the three Morrígna. Okay. The plural of Morrigan. So she was a triple aspect. Now, if you had three faces, you could see in all directions, pretty much, for the most part, in the center of a circle, consider it. And then there would be a central axis point in this, you'd have those three facing in or out, depending on intention. Maybe they would face in for something and then face out, then face up, down, all directions, whatever. The circle representing the goddess. Okay. And says the term Ard Mhacha, the mast of Macha, refers to the heads of men that have been slaughtered. Now, on the Montgomery clan crest, which is another one of my lines, it says, guard well. On that crest, there is a goddess standing there with a severed head and a sword. Direct representation of that. What does that mean? If you don't honor your oath, she will take your head. That was serious. A version of the same gloss, LC and MSH 318, whatever, identifies Macha and Bab, calling the trio raven women. That has Nordic connections as well, yes? Huh. Who instigate battle? No. They assert their sovereignty over the land because they are the rightful power. Here, because they have honor, they have love, and they have good heart's flame. That is it. Keating explicitly calls them goddesses, because they were not demoted, right? But medieval Irish tradition was keen to remove, here it is, all trace of pre-Christian religion. Wow. Macha is said to have been killed by Balor during the battle with the Fomorians. Wow. So you see, there could have been real wars, real power going on here, but they don't want you to know that that kind of spiritual power exists. And in my opinion, it does. And it ain't no joke. It ain't no goddamn video game. It's for real. Macha Mong Ruad. Red hair. Huh. Red hair. Why are people with red hair berated in England? It is programmed in. Daughter of Ard Ruad, red fire, or fire lord. Now remember what I said, Ard is in one of my family names. Mhacha was, according to medieval legend and historical tradition, the only queen in the list of high kings of Ireland. Whoa, the only queen? Then she must have been pretty goddamn significant. However, could there have been others, like Druidess priestess queens? Yes. Now you remember, when the warlords stopped listening to their vulvas, they lost everything. They overexpanded, then it shrunk back, and they lost land. Selfish, stupid men. That doesn't mean all men are dumb. Those particular ones were arrogant. Her father, Ard, rotated, here it is, the kingship with his cousins, Dithorba and Kimbeth, I don't know, 7 years at a time. Okay. There's your 7. Now remember, 14,777. They have repeated that number again. So you have a magical overlay. It looks similar, but it's like a doppelganger. It appears to be the real deal, but it is not. Plastic versus wood, essentially. Ard died after his 3rd stint as king. 3rd, you hear that? 3. 777, what did I say? 7 representing the king. And when his turn came round again, Macha claimed the kingship. No, she claimed the sovereignty of the land. Queen of sovereignty, period. My opinion, of course. Dithorba and Simbeth refused to allow a woman to take the throne. Is that true? I don't know. And a battle ensued. Macha won, and Dithorba was killed. Wow. She won a second battle against Dithorba's sons. Who were these guys? Who fled into the wilderness of Connaught. She married Simbeth, with whom she shared the kingship. That's because he held honor, right? Macha pursued Dithorba's sons alone. Wow. Disguised as a leper. See, shape-shifting. Remember, Morgan tests you. She was at the well, remember, as this old, decrepit lady, and then there were 3 warriors approached her, right? Oh, no, you're disgusting, the first 2. But then the 3rd one said, I will make love to you, right? And then what happened? She transformed into a beautiful woman. So the ancientness of the land, and the older woman representing the ancient stone wood connection to land sovereignty, right? And then the beauty that is the bounty of the land, right, is the young, beautiful, and supple goddess. My opinion, of course, since I love women and the goddess especially. And overcame each of them in turn. When they tried to have sex with her, let's see, tied them up. Whoa. That tried to have sex. That is called rape. They tried to force it. So if you rape the sovereignty of the land, you don't receive honor. You're an enemy. It carried the 3 of them bodily to Ulster. Interesting. The Ulster men wanted to have them killed. Okay. But remember, Macha is fair, even if you screw up. Macha instead, here it is. Wow. Enslaved them, subjugated them, and forced them to build Eamhain Mhacha. Let's see, Navan Fort near Armagh. Now, I may pause and say, I don't know if that's true. Anything to disparage the goddess is what they do, and that is my opinion, of course. to do the flip and reverse. So if you have the sovereignty goddess, then you would have a non-sovereignty goddess, which is just total warlord domination. To be the capital of Ulaid, marking out its boundaries. These guys are being loud. With her brooch, explaining the name Eamhain Mhacha as Eamhain. Macha, or Macha's neck brooch. Macha ruled together with Simbith for 7 years. There's your 7 again, until he died of plague at Eamhain Mhacha. Or was he poisoned? We don't know. And then a further 14 years on her own, until she was killed by Rectade Rid Durg. The Labor Gabala synchronizes her reign to that of Ptolemy the First. Rome. The chronology of Keating's Foras Fesa Erin dates her reign. Wow. To 468 to 461 BC. Now consider, that was contemporary, close to the same time as supposedly King Arthur, right? It's all interconnected and overlaid, in my opinion. The annals of the Four Masters to 661 to 654. And wars are happening after the year 600, right? Anyway, Marie Louise, let's see, Sogested, I don't know, writes of this figure. In the person of this second Macha, we discover a new aspect of the local goddess, that of the warrior and dominator. No. Sovereignty of the land. You see, they keep doing that to defile it, or they're ignorant. And this is combined with the sexual aspect. Now, fertility, honoring the sacredness of the fertility, or guess what? It doesn't exist. All right. Aspect in a specific manner which reappears in other myths. The male partner or partners being dominated by the females. No. Honoring the sovereignty of the goddess is not domination. The only reason she becomes that way is if the sovereignty of the land is not being honored, in my opinion, of course. Now, Macha, wife of Grian Banchure. Now, why does she keep appearing? Because that would be a title that the queen would wear. You got it? Honoring the sovereignty of the goddess, my opinion. It is an office to hold. Macha, daughter of Sanrith Mac Imbe, was the wife of Grian Banchure, an Ulster farmer. Sometime after the death of Grian Banchure's first wife, Macha appears at his house. She appears without speaking. That's telepathy. Possibly. See, she would have been emitting powerful energy. She begins keeping the house and acting as his wife. Now, she is the keeper of the hearth and flame. That is symbolic. See, they keep demoting it into servitude, and that being negative, and her being a negative character. No, yet again, the overlay of negativity on Morrígna. And I am saying right now that is bullshit. All right? Sovereignty goddess, again. And I'll keep hammering on this as we get closer to St. Patrick's Day. This is big. Soon she becomes pregnant by him. That's fertility, right? And growth. As long as they were together, Grian Banchure's wealth grew. Sovereignty of the land was honored, and wealth grew. Huh, how's that work? Hearts, flame, and love multiplies love infinitely, but fear, death, and domination doesn't. Gee, I wonder how that works, George. When he leaves to attend a festival organized by the King of Ulster, she warns him that she will only stay with him so long as he does not speak of her to anyone. That is honoring her sovereignty, right? And her personal privacy. That's part of sovereignty. And her free will. He promises to say nothing. I'll bet you that doesn't stay. This is a lesson. However, during a chariot race, so this guy's a jackass. He boasts that his wife can run faster than the king's horses. She's pregnant. Leave her alone. What a jackass. I would never do that. That is such fucking arrogance. You must support your woman if she is pregnant. God has blessed that. The king orders Grian Banchure be held on pain of death unless he can make good on his claim. That was putting her at risk. Although she is heavily pregnant, that means third term, right? Big belly. You should not be bolting and running and sprinting like a goddamn rabbit unless you have to for survival. Macha is brought to the gathering, and the king's forces. Let's see, and the king forces her to race the horses. She wins the race, but then cries out in pain as she gives birth to twins on the finish line. So, like, even under extreme stress, she was still able to do amazing things, right? Here it is. A boy named True. That was by the name Fur. That meant true, F-I-R. And a girl named Fial, modest. All of this is symbolic, okay? We're disrespecting and humiliating her. What is this all about? Defiling the sovereignty of the land and the sovereignty goddess herself. What is the payment? She curses the men of Ulster to be overcome with weakness. Of course, they didn't honor the sovereignty of the land, therefore they do not get to claim the strength thereof as weak. As a woman in childbirth, at the same time of their greatest need. And the children represent the future sovereignty of the land. What did he put at risk by being a jackass? Same shit. This weakness would last for 5 days. And the curse, holy shit. Now, when she curses you, god damn, would last for 5 days. And the curse would last for 9 generations. Wow. Therefore, the place where Macha gave birth would be called Eamhain Mhacha, or Macha's twins. Now, why would they disrespect? Why would they build there? Because they knew that history. They knew the story. Reality. This tale explains the meaning of the name of Eamhain Mhacha and explains why none of the Ulstermen, but the semi-divine hero, Cuchulainn, could resist the invasion of Ulster in the Tain Bo Quilling cattle raid of Cooley. It shows that Macha, as goddess of the land and sovereignty, can be vengeful. No shit. If disrespected. They dishonored the sovereignty of the land, therefore they pay the price. Period. And how the rule of a bad king leads to disaster. Exactly. Why is the earth in trouble? That is why. Because they use death, disease, war, domination. They don't use honor and heart toward protecting the sovereignty and sacredness of the land or the goddess. They dominate the goddess and treat her as a prostitute. Well, she ain't putting up with that shit. And she will chop your fucking head off. On a spiritual level. not literal. You know what I'm saying? Well, depends on your perspective. So if I approach her with great honor and humility, what's the likelihood that the sovereignty goddess will come to my aid? Very high. But she chooses. You don't just call her like she's your fucking slave. No. You come before the ancient grandmother with honor and humility. Period. No arrogance will be accepted. None. The Macha is particularly associated with horses. Again, sovereignty, liberty on the land. Got it? It is perhaps significant that twin colts, see, also representing those two children, were born, here it is, on the same day as Cuchulainn, Finn McCool, and that one of his chariot horses was called Ard Mhacha, or Macha's Grey, as she is often compared with the Welsh mythological figure Rhiannon. Bam. Relationships of the Makajās. Short. Macha is named as the wife of Nemed, son of Agnaman, or alternatively, as the wife of Crund, son of Agnoman, which may indicate an identity of Nemed with Crund. Macha is also named as the daughter of Midir and Aed, the Red. Wow. No wonder I felt drawn to her. I have a direct link in my family. Wow. So next, most likely, I'm going to do Rhiannon. But I might come back, like take a break, come back, and whatever, maybe play some music. Wow. So as I have, that was heavy, but I was guided to that. And I'm like, well, whoa. Direct link. Wow. I'm still absorbing that. I'm just like, you go through a series of discovering connections. And for me, those folk ties are really powerful. And I just don't have a way to explain that to somebody who doesn't feel things like I do. How do I explain that? They'll call me a crazy guy. Why even open my mouth? They're not going to get what I'm saying. Well, they came down from the hills. They came to perch on the goddess's mound. The sovereignty goddess won't be thrown down forevermore, She said, honor the sovereignty in the land, or I'll be coming for your head, sword in hand, Queen of sovereignty. Fire in the head, fire in the heart and soul. Deep down, Whoa. Fire in the head, heart and soul. We don't say no. and a flickering. Shine on, goddess of my heart and soul. On all the way, I honor you, goddess of sovereignty. Feel it on the wind as it blows, calling the goddess of sovereignty to my aid. In a troubled land, whoa, rising we, children of the goddess of sovereignty, grandmother, grandfather in the woodland bee. Whoa, yeah. Your stain won't stay, no, 'cause the stain's on you, not on the goddess of sovereignty. Walk on the way like a red flame on the way. Her hair like fire, oh, shine, shine on, goddess of sovereignty. Heart's flame forevermore. Tree flaming well, tree flaming well, tree flame down the world. Oh, see the root down. Whoa. Thank you. Hail, 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 the goddess of sovereignty of the land. May she be uplifted, and no stain put upon her name. No, shine, shine, shine. See what if I can do it. You gotta keep going. Find the harmonic. Those are hard to get. Gotta be real sensitive and easy with your fingers. Well, I honor you all the way. Goddess of my heart and soul. Hold the flame. For I love you all the way. Love you all the way. On the flame. On the flame. I'll see through down.